I've made a video about this before, but not as well spoken. I think I got a great perspective right now to explain how to fix a huge issue in our economy. I was talking about revamping interest and debt, and how, well, we had a pandemic, and that showed what the parasites were in our economy. The people were still accruing debt and interest. And though the entire economy was shut down, interest was just fabricating value, like printing free money for no reason, just because you had a loan that you bought pre-pandemic, right? And so, one, we need to ban debt collectors. Just get rid of the fuckers, all of them. And what that does is then when we revamp debt to be based on a positive interest perspective, where interest is actually interest, you know what I mean? Interest, the word interest. When you have interest, the interest has to have a positive return to accrue value, to be paid. No different than the stock market. That's all it is basically. Right now, interest is a federally mandated return that you cannot circumnavigate. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't defunk. There's no, it's like going to a lottery and you buy a ticket and the ticket always wins. Right? There's no risk or failure. And so what that has done, education has skyrocketed in price. People are trying to put anyone in debt because it's a zero risk factor. Now, if we do those two things, what's going to happen to the medical society? One, education is going to become very cheap. And after education becomes cheap, education quality is going to go up. And because that interest that develops from actually producing better education in the market is going to back the interest margin. So the loanee and the loaner are both going to be making more money, and so it's going to be very healthy. And people that work in the medical field that can't even afford to pay their own loans, they go to school for 10 years, and they're blaming the people who are sick that can't afford to pay, and then we're blaming them, and it's just this back and forth, and we're not actually solving the issue. We're just looking for another way to ignore the real problem. And the real problem is interest, because it's a zero risk factor. And so as soon as you weed that out, the people who loan money are still going to be paid. They're going to be making just as much as they have, except you're going to twist things around so that education becomes a higher quality to justify the development of interest. So people are going to put focus into that, and it's going to raise the quality of the mindset of the people. At least it works that way in my head. There's always somebody to corrupt something, right? So that's why you write these regulations to limit those fucking cunts, because we had a pandemic and interest is still accruing. People are losing their homes and people are going out of business. We have a freaking tornado. People can't have enough money to set things back up to a prior moment of success. And I was saying that that's what the stimulant was. That's what it's a stimulus package. I hated that term from day one. It's not stimulate the economy. It's like returning a product. So if you go to the store and you buy something that doesn't work, you either get a warranty or you have a receipt, and you can return it and get a refund. That puts you back to a prior moment where you can go and get something more proper that you need, rather than just people being forced into buying broken shit over and over and over again. That gives them an incentive to sell higher quality products. Well, it's the same thing with interest and debt. It's the same concept. And so, like I said, once you raise the quality of education, then you're getting a higher return, because the money that you invested is secured. And the people then that can pay those returns are paying the loaners, and the economy doesn't inflate like it's inflating unnecessarily right now, and basically just destroying itself because of all these people we're allowing into this country to no fucking clue. And the people who are born in the last 20 and 30 years don't really understand economics that well either. You have to understand it naturally, not really be educated into it, because that's how you corrupt the system in general. Anyway, there you go.